not plant this.
Yeah.
It is because there is this thing that we can get.
Because the weeds the grass.
The grass are controlled. And you can notice that this is grandifolia, Kaya grandifolia. And you see that the Luciana here is not, germinating on the ground.
Ça c'est l'albizia zigia. C'est ça que je me disais, mais vous n'avez pas.
Il a planté ici. Il a matching with black pepper.
Ça marche bien avec le cacao.
You see the black pepper.
Oui. Au Ghana, ils font du cacao. C'est ça. Le zigia.
Okay,
to show that
a
mark.
So there's cocoa here.
Yes.
1, 2, 2. Oh, he's expanding cocoa.
Yes, you see expanding cocoa.
Cool.
And expanding monodora too.
Yeah, monodora.
Expanding monodora. And all these things are yams that can resist up to 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Every year you produce. And you can see how that cola nut is growing.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Chinua Achebe, yes.
Yeah.
The writer.
The writer, he said, he who brings cola brings life.
Okay.
Wish you high.
Et ça grossit comme ça aussi.
Mais il ne faut pas mettre trop.
Let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue. Supplementary.
And seasonal.
But the main thing they eat daily, cassava, maize, comes from another farm. Where we need to make sure that
Yes, you will see.
we'll see them.
Yes. And that is why we train them on bushfire
Management. Basically, I came to see, to learn what the APAF project has been doing here. And I thank Bruno for inviting me to come and see what the project has been doing here for the last. This morning, we had opportunity to visit several farmers. One of them was called Mr. Coca-Cola, and in both farms, the last one I don't remember the name, but we saw how they have transformed the savanna grass lands into very productive agroforestry system, multi-layer system over 6-7 years. Trees up, cocoa down, different crops downstairs, and that was remarkable. What was remarkable was we saw the farmers were expanding the area under that system. Neighbors were also copying and adopting the system, and I really congratulate you. Traditionally, we used to have agroforestry systems. That's how all our farming in the past was agroforestry, and we must continue with that effort. Our grandfathers practiced agroforestry, and what I'm seeing here is coming back to those good old practices. But the little I know is that when you have trees in the farm, not only do they improve your soils, but they give you fruits, they give you firewood, they give you fodder, medicine, all kinds of benefits. I was very happy to see what I saw today, and this is really extremely makes me happy. And we will find, as we go around, this was only a fact-finding mission. We will find ways to see how we can support this initiative. What I saw here is certainly something that many others in Africa could learn from on how to do. In your food crop fields, those fields that produce your maize, your cassava, could also be conserved and have more trees over time. You could get some very degraded land over time, and so you have to manage both the land near your homes with the agroforests as well as those that are away in ways that over time they become good as well. And as we continue to think about this project looking forward, I think we'll be thinking along those agroforests as well as your main crop fields and how to bring them together trees as possible. Now you cannot have trees, as many trees as you want in the maize, cassava fields because of shade, but at least together with your thinking and the team behind here, I'm sure we can do something. Life, without them, we cannot make much progress. We must bring our sisters, our mothers, our wives in the front line to make sure that this change that is happening here, they are leading, they are part of the excitement. They must handle the money, they must be part of the managers of this whole process. Africa's agriculture has to be led by women as well. I'm very glad to see at least one mother here.
There are two.
There are two of them?
Yes.
Oh, there's another one here.
Yes.
And I saw several in the farm, so let's give them an applause. Yes. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
The coffee is many years older than the albizia. But now the albizia are under the coffee.
Yeah. Very nice.
And you could you see fruit.
Morenda lucida.
Which species?
Morenda lucida.
You say it is not
Morenda
lucida, but it's fertilized wheat.
Yeah.
That will last for long.
Which one is that? The one you're holding?
Yes, this is the one I'm holding.
Okay. Okay.
And these albizas are 6 years old.
6 years.
6 years old.
That's hard to believe.
Yes, but it's a reality. You see,
You know? Simply.
you see the village
Yeah.
of the coffee.
Yeah.
It shows how much the albizia is trying to help.
Uh-huh. But now the science has to be,
I mean, to prove
yeah,
that is why there is
the scientific,
the scientific follow-up.
yeah. More shade.
This is Samania Sama. It doesn't go high.
Yeah.
So when it just covers some height,
Yeah. Yeah.
and cocoa too doesn't go too high,
Yeah.
you could see that the farm, because cocoa needs more shade than coffee. Then when you use Samania Saman, it, fertilize or better the land for cocoa.
Yeah.
And so Chevalerie will let cocoa grow too much high because there will be competition.
Yeah.
Because it is a grassland,
Yeah.
before they are planting, they want to plant cocoa.
Yeah.
This is a forest land. Before you plant cocoa, then you need Samania Saman. Short one,
Yeah.
and this one is coming up.
It's coming up.
Yes, and under the Samania Saman, you
Yeah.
can see how the cocoa is
Yeah.
fructifying well.
Yeah. 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 All the way.
All the way.
That's good.
Yes. And this Samania Saman cannot go higher like, you see we are in, under Samania Saman.
Yeah.
No albizia here. That is the difference between a forest land and the grass land,
Yeah.
you see. So I just want you to notice
yeah.
the difference between the grassland
Yeah.
and the,
Yeah.
for the grassland, when you want to do multi-story,
Yeah.
plantation, you have to need, you need
You start with the
albizia.
albizia.
But when you are in a forest land,
Mhm.
you use Samania Saman. Oui, je lui explique que je suis en train de lui expliquer que dans une zone de savane, quand tu veux faire ceci, un champ comme ça, tu utilises l'albizia pour le faire. Donc c'est un champ multi-étagé dans une zone déjà forestière qui produit la même chose. Tout comme l'igname réussit. Et ceci peut faire 10 ans, 40 ans, 50 ans si tu maintiens ça bien. Et chaque année tu vas produire.
Est-ce que vous pouvez suivre la liane qui monte là?
Oui.
Regarde, parce que regarde comment elle monte. Est-ce que tu peux suivre ça? C'est l'igname.
Oui. Tu vois comment ça monte. to let the black pepper to yield well. And this one is the improved black pepper.
Improved variety.
Improved variety.
Really? Wow.
Improved variety.
Kerala.
C'est Kerala.
Yeah.
That means in this part,
African Kerala.
Africain Kerala.
Yeah. This is amazing.
when with agroforestry,
Yeah.
you have different type of products,
Yeah. Yeah.
and seasonally you
Yeah.
can produce.
And the pepper will come out from where? Oh, there you go. Wait. Ah.
At the top there.
Find out what to see for myself the exciting work
Yes.
of this particular project,
That's it.
APAF,
Yeah.
and how it has managed to put back more trees
Yes.
onto the farms,
Yes.
smallholder farms,
Yes.
like we saw this morning,
Yes.
and how these trees are providing various products and services to the farmers.
Yes.
And the kinds of products that we saw this morning and we are seeing now here, that the trees are helping the farmers to produce more cocoa
Yes.
and better quality cocoa.
Yes.
They are helping them to produce better coffee.
Yes.
They are helping them to produce fruits because of the nice environment.
Yes.
But also the trees like the albizia, the samanias,
Yes.
are helping the farmers to improve their soils.
That's it.
And when put together,
Yes.
protect the environment, protect the watershed. Like
Yes.
where we are now is an important watershed.
Yes.
And you can see this is very important for these rivers. So my visit was basically to meet the leaders of the project, meet the farmers, their families, see the area, get a sense of what has been done, get a sense of what is needed, and see how we could move forward.
All right.
So it was basically a fact-finding mission.
Okay. You are welcome.
Visit.
Fact finding, the whole finding mission. What do you notice, or what is your impression?
To be honest, I'm very impressed.
Yes.
I'm very impressed that over a very short period of time,
Yes.
6 years,
Yes.
you can get a system changed
Yes.
from grasslands that are degraded
Yes.
to agroforests of different structure
Yes.
and different functions.
Yes.
So I think a lot of thinking and hard work has gone into this. But I'm very much impressed with what I have seen today. We need to scale up this to bring in more farmers
Yes.
to practice it and to expand the area and the production, and to also target those areas that are the have the food crops, the maize, the cassava, because those areas are still open. They have very little tree cover, and so we need to also then now move this technology into those areas and make sure that the slash and burn that you see in that area is controlled, and over time they might not be like the agroforest gardens, but they would have significant soil and water conservation measures in place, and also provide trees that provide various products to the farmers, and that also provide a service of controlling the soil away from moving, improve the fertility. And so I see there's some more work to be done, but what I have seen so far is heartening, is really great enough to build upon.
Okay. And do you think with this we can fight against desertification?
Absolutely. This is the way to do it. I don't see any other way.
Okay. And
not only the certifications,
yes,
but also climate change.
that's it.
We have a reality of climate change.
Yes.
So forests are being cut down, populations are growing,
Yes.
and the future of trees is really on farms. it's unfortunate that most of the forests will go or are going, particularly in Africa. And so we have to make every effort we can to put more trees on farmers' lands. But these have to be trees that, as you have demonstrated today, provide products that bring in money to farmers. African farmers need money. We want trees also that can support the productivity of these smallholder lands. By productivity, I mean get more yield per unit area. But the same trees can also mitigate this real climate change, because at the least they will fix carbon. They will sequester carbon. And that will be some carbon less going to the environment. And if we could get more and more trees pushed upwards, particularly into the Sahelian countries, so that farmers have trees that are providing them with firewood. Because right now a lot of their firewood needs and other building material needs are coming from wood off the farms. And that continuous harvesting of wood for firewood, for construction from the rangelands, from the parklands, is contributing significantly to the land degradation, and thereby contribute to the movement of the desert, or at least the land degradation downwards. Areas that were arable, cultivable, are becoming less and less cultivable because of their degradation. So the desert itself might not move down as fast, but land degradation will move. So if we can get trees in different structures, formats, as you have demonstrated today, into farmers' fields, in Togo, in neighboring countries, Ghana, in neighboring countries, Burkina, in Mali, Niger, in Kenya, where I come from, everywhere in Africa, that would be great. It does, what I have seen today helps me convince many that trees and crops can go together. That trees do not necessarily mean loss of crops if structured well. If you have the right species and you manage it well, like the farmers are doing it here in Togo. So it just reinforces the knowledge and the experiences I have in this field. And you bet I'm be one of those advocates for your work. I will be really very much upfront. And I can see Togo and your work here, Chairman, being visited by many, because I think a lot of people inside and outside of Africa would like to see how you are doing this, how you have done this with the communities. And so you could become influential in your own ways to many others who want to combine production with conservation.
And useful for the livestock?
I think yes. I mean, right now, because of the environment here, livestock is not significant. But you can introduce smaller animals, and we have seen goats today, chicken. It may not hold much room and fodder for cows. Cows can go more towards the open areas. But you can introduce a lot of poultry, a lot of goats can support through the fodder that you're generating from this system. You could also introduce honey production. Honey is, I mean, bees are livestock. And so farmers can make good money out of also honey and smaller animals. So the potential is there, but one thing at a time. I think what you have done here is remarkable in terms of going through getting farmers to accept that you can get a degraded land, grassland, into something that is multi-story like this, that is also multifunctional, and then slowly build on it one step at a time to bring in more valuable trees, more valuable crops, pepper, vegetables, and slowly move up to the animals.
Thank you very much.